taking the time to enjoy the really simple things that can give us so much joy and pleasure and enjoyment, but that in general, I feel like, I don't know how you feel, Ashley, but my life is always like, it feels like I'm always big picture thinking and thinking about my big goals and working towards things that I rarely actually take those like pleasures in watching a Christmas movie or like, those simple moments like that you create during this season, I think a lot more often than in other times in the year.
Yeah.
Going to see Christmas lights. Like there's so many of baking cookies with my mom, like, cooking all day with my mom and my sister on Christmas Day. There's so many little things that give this season like so many moments of joy.
Well, this is a little bit different in comparison to our last episodes. We're on a new set today.
It is, and I love it.
Yes,
I love our
so
cozy
festive.
fireplace.
Super cozy, super festive, and really excited for what we're going to talk about today. Also, I love your shoes.
Well, I was just thinking we both showed up unintentionally with holiday shoes on.
I know.
There's a little sparkle going on.
Yes, black sparkly shoes for the holiday season. Just make everything better.
Yeah, it's always the little things.
It is.
Always the little things.
It is the little things. Well, in today's episode, we are going to talk about some of the questions that we've gotten from some of our early listeners.
Yes.
We know we're new in the podcast world, but we've got a little crew that's behind us, that's rooting for us.
All of our day ones.
Yes, and they've asked a couple of questions, and so we'll share our thoughts and, I don't know, just advice on some of those topics. You ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right. So one of the questions that we got from a listener was, what are some of our favorite parts of the holiday season? So I know what my answer is, but I'm really excited to hear what your answers are.
Okay. Favorite part of this season. For me, I think one of the best parts of having this time to slow down and celebrate is you can feel a little bit of like an energy shift in the air where everything just feels a little bit slower.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
So there's this like all year long, it feels like we're in this like rat race and like go, go, go. And, it's like constantly on. And then all of a sudden, like a couple days before Thanksgiving rolls around and like I can literally feel a shift in the air.
Yes.
And I can feel what it does to me is like always kind of like surprises me every year. And I remember how much I like specifically Thanksgiving Day, which, by the time this comes out, it's past. But there are other days like in Christmas Day, other days that feel similarly where it's like suddenly everything stops.
Yeah.
And if you're tuned into it, it's so beautiful.
Agreed. You know what one of the main days is for me where I feel like everything slows down? The last day before you can buy things online and ship them out. I feel like once people have lost the ability to like order gifts online and they know they're just like in it to get what they can get at the store, to me, it feels like everything slows down.
Online or in real life?
Like in real life, because I feel like online, it's almost like a frenzy of trying to get gifts for people and things are sold out or like this isn't available or this isn't going to ship in time. And then it's like when everyone has really accepted that what I have is what I have.
Yeah.
It's like a peacefulness. Maybe I just say that because I've worked in digital for so long.
Maybe that's interesting. Yeah. Well, speaking of shopping in real life, it's like, well, one of the things I do to enjoy this season is personally, I avoid the malls. I avoid, and I think we might have different takes on this, but I really try to tap into that slowness and to that relaxed energy during this season. And so the last thing I want to do is go out for the Black Friday sales or go out to the mall when everyone is like frantically shopping. So I try to like tap into that energy where it's like everything is peaceful and calm, and like avoid the frenziness of like mass shopping and people madly trying to get last minute gifts.
Wait, okay, so do you feel like you always do your shopping enough in advance to avoid that? Because I always think I'm going to do my shopping far enough in advance to avoid that. And then it doesn't always happen.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think at this point I do most of my shopping online.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, and I think like we talked about in our gifts episode, I feel like gift giving is all year long, and I don't necessarily feel an urge to get everybody in my life a gift during the holidays.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like your love is not based on the Christmas gift you decide to give someone, because you've done lots of little things for them throughout the year as well. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple others, but let's go to you. What do you think is your favorite part of the season?
Yeah, I think for me, my favorite part of this season, much like our shoes, which I don't know if my sparkle is coming through or not, but I just love everything sparkly.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of a cheesy person for the holidays. So I have to watch It's a Wonderful Life at least once.
Oh, really? Every year?
Every single year. I have to watch it at least once, because I don't know. It just makes
It's
me
the best movie.
happy to like be remembered that like you matter and the things you do matter. I love that movie.
And the people in your life are what matters most.
100%. Yeah. So I always watch that, normally while drinking cocoa and like a Snuggie or something super cheesy. And then
do you watch that by yourself usually, or do you have like people you watch it with?
I normally watch it by myself.
Okay, I love that.
Everyone in my family hates that movie. That's like not their Christmas jam.
Interesting.
But it is for me. So I normally watch it by myself. And I also really love all of the cheesy Christmas light installations.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's something like this in LA. I'm assuming there probably is. But when I was growing up, there was a place called Santa Land. And so it was this setup of just driving through like millions and millions of lights that they've put up with, you know, like all the different displays, going to synchronize like music with the lights. So yeah, I love doing stuff like that. Love a good Christmas tree lighting.
Yeah.
I love the Grove at the holiday season. It's just like so beautiful.
The Grove in LA.
Yeah, like the Grove in LA. And then the square in Pacific Palisades is really gorgeous. So like anywhere that I can find gorgeous Christmas lights, nice Christmas tree set up, and a cup of hot cocoa, I'm just like the happiest person ever.
Okay, the reason I think what you just said is super powerful, it leads into my second thing that I love most about the holidays.
Ooh, okay, let's hear it.
But which is what you said, but like under a bigger umbrella, which is taking the time to enjoy the really simple things that can give us so much joy and pleasure and enjoyment, but that in general, I feel like, I don't know how you feel, Ashley, but my life is always like, it feels like I'm always big picture thinking and thinking about my big goals and working towards things that I rarely actually take those like pleasures in watching a Christmas movie, or like, those simple moments like that you create during this season, I think a lot more often than in other times in the year.
Yeah.
Going to see Christmas lights. Like there's so many baking cookies with my mom, like, cooking all day with my mom and my sister on Christmas Day. There's so many little things that give this season like so many moments of joy that I usually gloss over the rest of the year.
I can definitely understand that. I think it's easy to be on autopilot. Like if we all learn nothing from COVID, it's that most of us had been on autopilot for some time. And I feel like that slowing everyone down just really brought more intensity to the fact that most of us need to slow down more frequently. And I think I've noticed a lot of people kind of holding on to that. And it's also nice during the holiday season when so many businesses are shut down, and then you're not having as many emails or communications from like coworkers, or if you're an entrepreneur, vendors that you're working with. It's like communication in general, does slow down. And it's like there's less urgency of like, oh, if I don't respond to this email in the next 2 minutes, then everything's going to go not according to schedule and there's going to be chaos. It's like, no, it's the holiday season. Everyone's with their family. Like,
oh my gosh, there are no emergencies in comfy pants.
No. Yeah. There are no emergencies in yoga pants. There really aren't. It's like, no, eat your gingerbread man, like set up a plate of cookies for Santa and relax.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being on autopilot, my third favorite part of this season, as I'm thinking about it, is the fact that we get to reevaluate and reevaluate and renew what paths we're on, right? Like, a lot of the reflection that we've been talking about doing during this time of year is like setting yourself up for making sure that you're not waking up. I think my biggest fear is like waking up at 65 and realizing I've been climbing the wrong ladder my whole life. So like this time of year is so much about reflection and planning that I think it like gives me renewed energy to make sure I'm moving forward in ways that are going to make me feel good over the long run.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. I'm trying to remember who it was that I heard say this. I think it was Stu McLaren at a live event. It was like an Amy Porterfield event that I went to in San Diego. Gorgeous hotel that they had it at. But he was on stage and he was talking about, if you don't know who Stu McLaren is, he is a serial entrepreneur, has built various softwares, has group programs, things like that. I'm not super familiar with his work, but he was one of the keynote speakers. And he made a comment that when he was thinking about doing things with his kids, he's like, I think about it and I'm like, I have 10 summers left with my children.
Oh my gosh.
Like based on their age. And something about that really stuck with me. And so I think now, even when I think about the holiday season, I'm like, okay, like at this age for my lifetime, if I have 40 Christmases left or 30 Christmases left or 20 Christmases left, it's
it really
like,
puts things in perspective.
It does. It's like, am I really making sure that every holiday season I'm doing the things that are going to make me happy. I'm connecting with friends and family and just setting myself up to have a meaningful season versus feeling like it's a season that I wasted because I didn't take time to just like enjoy the little things that make me happy.
That makes me feel like I'm so happy we decided to do an entire season of this podcast around the holidays, like with the holidays as the theme.
Yeah.
Because it is so important to take that time, to take that weight around this time of year, I think, and like, put it into the people who are most important in our lives and the things we most really want to be doing and enjoying the simple pleasures instead of just going through it and being like, what did I do last Christmas?
Exactly. Okay, so I have another question from another one of our listeners. So we had a listener who asked, how do you navigate disappointments during the holiday season? So maybe you are planning to see friends or family, or you're planning events with friends, and we all know that life happens. Mm-hmm. People are human. Things don't always go 100% according to the plan that we had. So are there any ways that you navigate that and any tips that you might have in navigating that?
That's a tough one. Yes, I do have thoughts. When I was younger, I don't think I really have ever talked about this publicly, actually. But I will now because we know my jam of sharing all these stories.
That's what I was going to say. And so part of the course for the entire season, we're getting Sumi's secret stories. And I think I like that. And it has a good ring to it. So it just sticks. And that's what it is now. Yeah. Sumi's secret stories.
Yeah, I had a bunch of social anxiety. And the reason that as I've reflected on it, the reason that I've had so much social anxiety was because I had such high expectations for how I thought every interaction and every gathering and every party and, every dinner should go.
Ooh, there goes that word should again.
Should. Yeah. And so expectations on connections that should happen, expectations on how I should show up, expectations just in general. And, I think the social anxiety mostly came from I thought I had to be on the whole time. Okay. And when I dropped that, thank God. What it did was it opened up like so many more possibilities of just knowing that like this one dinner or this one brunch doesn't have to be make or break or a referendum on my entire friendship with this person or my entire relationship with my mom or whatever it is. Yeah. It's like, this is just one moment in time. There's going to be another one and another one and another one. And if you just keep showing up, then you're creating more opportunities for connection versus if you have such high expectations for every single one event, then you're curtailing the amount of possibilities that you're keeping open for yourself. Do you get what I mean? Because
100%.
You don't attend them because you think that the bar is so high, you're too exhausted to go. Or like, the bar is so high, I'm going to sit this one out again, because it's too much pressure.
Yes.
So I think the reason I brought that social anxiety up is because it connected to your question around navigating disappointments. It's like now, okay, if things don't go exactly as I want them to, it's like a frame in my mind where I'm like, this is just one Christmas. There are how many more, and the idea is just to keep showing up instead of having high expectations for each one.
Yeah, I love that. And I think sometimes it's the pressure that we put on ourselves that we're assuming other people are putting on us or situations that they have to go a certain way. Yeah. And when you can release yourself from that, you're also releasing other people in your life from that pressure as well, that you maybe don't even realize you're putting that on them. Then everything can just be lighter.
I think I learned a lot from one of my friends who would constantly show up for her other friends, but she wasn't the life of the party. She didn't bring a whole lot necessarily to the table each time, but she showed up and she was consistent with showing up. And I learned a lot from that. I was like, people appreciate that. Showing up, literally, again, knowledge is power, Saturday morning cartoons, like
Schoolhouse Rock, gotta love it.
Schoolhouse Rock. Showing up is 80% of the battle. It really is. So I think if you just show up for the people in your life and show up for your family members, you're 80% there.
Yeah. I love that.
Anything else to add on that?
I mean, I think for me, navigating disappointments has been a lot of going with the flow. I normally was the person that was putting a lot of pressure on myself to do certain things, be in certain places, see a certain number of people, have the perfect presents, have them wrapped perfectly, which I let that go a long time ago. Yeah. Like now, if you get a gift from me and it's in a bag and some tissue paper, feel loved, feel special.
Right.
But yeah, I started really just learning to go with the flow. And in more recent years, I'm like, if I'm celebrating Christmas with family and we don't celebrate on Christmas Day, who cares? Like just the fact that we're getting together and we're celebrating is the most important thing. If I'm meant to see someone and we're going to connect over the holidays and now suddenly schedules have changed or they have like a sick kid or something has just come up. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to connect with you regardless. And that connection is still going to be as deep. It's still going to be as meaningful. It doesn't matter what day it happens on. So I've really given myself a lot of flexibility to be more in the moment instead of more in that like planning space. Yes. Now I just kind of take the holidays as they come. So
more grace, it sounds like.
Yeah, a lot more grace.
To yourself and to everybody else.
Exactly. It's like I know where I'm going to be for the holidays. Like that's the bulk of my plan. So like this year, I know that in December, I'll be in New York for a couple of days to spend time and connect with friends. I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky, which is an interesting thing. Won't talk about that fully.
Ooh,
we can talk
about that later. I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky for a couple of days. And then I'll be in some part of Texas for multiple weeks, and I'll just kind of show up and make sure I have a warm enough jacket and see where I end up.
I love it. Okay. So I have the third listener question.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. So, okay. The question is, how do you recover from the holidays? I guess because for a lot of people, the holidays is a stressful time in many ways.
I may be judged for this one, and I don't really care.
Ooh, something juicy's coming.
I just love a good self-indulgent, selfish, only care about myself spa day.
I love that.
That I feel like at the end of the year.
By the way, no one should judge you for that. No one should judge anyone for that.
But I feel like sometimes as a woman, it can be taboo to like pamper yourself, you know, like just to really take a day to only care about yourself. I don't answer phone calls. I don't answer text messages. I don't respond to emails. I'll just take a day and go to the spa and get like a nice scrub and chill out in the saunas and enjoy my spa water and my robe with my like little head wrap on and really just chill and relax. And I also feel that that's like, it's a really good transition from all the running around that I tend to do during the holiday season and at Christmas and then starting a new year. Like it makes me feel like I can start fresh.
I think that should be a piece of advice that everyone should take from this.
I think everyone should take it too. And also don't forget, we are giving away a spa day at the Four Seasons if you're listening. So don't forget to enter that. We'll have details at the end of the show.
We are.
Yeah. So what about you? How do you like to recover?
So I have a slightly different take. If you haven't noticed, I feel like Ashley and I are always on opposite pages.
We're very yin and yang, and we balance each other very well.
Right? The motto is there's no one way to be a modern woman.
There's
actually
not.
like fits exactly with our theme. So I feel like, you know, over the holidays, I take a lot of time like enjoying that slowness and enjoying the slowed down energy. And so one thing that I've done in the past few years that I've started to enjoy a lot, I haven't quite planned it for this year yet, but I might, is an active trip to like round out the year.
Okay.
So my birthday is also at the end of the year.
Yes.
And so it's Christmas, my birthday, New Year's, like all within a few days. And so I've been thinking about, the past few years, I've taken a ski trip. And I'm not a big skier.
Oh, nice.
I'm not a big skier. I didn't grow up skiing. I was like in college, I went for the first time and like stayed on the easiest slope the whole time, afraid to run into the 4-year-olds.
Nothing wrong with a good bunny slope. Like,
right. Après ski is really fun too. But I think the combo for me of like really active mornings on the slopes, the past couple of years I've done this, and then afternoons and evenings like in the lodge, doing the journaling, doing the planning for the next year.
on a bearskin rug.
Oh, with the fireplace going like this one is really so rejuvenating and sets me up really well.
I love that. So do you normally take that as a solo trip? Do you go with friends?
I've gone with friends. And every year it's been like a couple different girlfriends that I've gone with. But I think if you can find friends to go, it could be beautiful. I'd also be open to going solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little adventure travel by yourself. And also, you never know who you're going to meet.
I was just going to say, as single women, you never know who you're going to meet.
Exactly. I love it. Okay, so in summary, there are different things that we each love about the holidays, ways that we handle conflict, ways that we recover during the holiday season. Hopefully some of this related to you if you're listening, and you can glean a little insight from some of the things that we've shared today and start to apply it to your own life.
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode, and we'll talk to you next time.